AITAH for tipping 83 cents? I went out to dinner with my wife last night. When the bill came, I gave the waitress my card. She came back shortly after looking upset. She slapped the card down on the table and said declined. I thought her tone and brevity was rude. I took out a different card from my wallet and handed it to her. While I was putting the first card in my wallet, she didn't move. I looked at her and said, "You okay?" She said, "If I go back and try to run this, are you still going to be sitting here when I get back?" I asked her if she thought her tone was appropriate for speaking to customers. She said, "You're only a customer if you pay." I asked to speak to her manager. She left with the card. My wife said maybe the waitress had encountered scammers before and was anxious about it. I said being rude and being cautious are two different things. The waitress returned with my card and the slip to fill out. She said this one worked. "I'm sorry." I thanked her and took the booklet. Our bill was $91.17. I wrote in 83 cents as the tip and $92 as the total. I handed it back to her and started to get up to leave. She said, "You're really not going to tip me?" I said, "No, you were rude to me." She said, "I have to tip out the bartender and the busboy. I just paid money to serve you." I said, "Well, in the future you shouldn't be so rude." My wife thinks I was an odd to the waitress and should have given her $10 at least, because it was an honest misunderstanding. I would have given her $28.83 if she wasn't rude to me, but I don't want to pay to be insulted. Was I the asshole? For the record, I called my bank and the card was flagged for fraud because of a pending $1 change that is often associated with fraud attempts. I resolved it. I used to work retail at a store where people would try and scam us with checks by signing their name really hard and thick, crossing over the account number on the bottom. This would often cause the register to scan the check improperly. Or likewise, I worked at a restaurant where the occasional credit card would get declined. I would always simply say, "I'm sorry, it seems our system is having an issue with the check or the magnetic strip on the back. Do you have an alternate form of payment?" Don't blame the customer. Blame the technology. The scammers would throw a fit. The legit customers would say, "Oops." I never approach a guest with a declined card with rudeness or hostility. We have a lot of foreigners come in and those are the cards that most often decline. Sometimes it's a safety on the bank's end and sometimes it's just our machine. I always say something along the lines of, "I'm so sorry, my reader is having a hard time with this card. Do you have another one I can try?" Sometimes it's as simple as them answering a safety alert text and running it again. Sometimes I try a different POS and it works fine, but I would never handle it the way your server did. NTA op, she was rude and hostile AF.